Hello and welcome back. We're glad that you've joined us as we move forward with the building of our Barndominium. In this video, Dave and I are just getting started putting the insulation on, and then we'll be putting the metal on the exterior walls.
We decided to start on this little short section where the pieces are only about 4 feet tall and pretty simple and straightforward. It was a good warm-up for the more difficult, bigger pieces that we're going to face soon.
It was nice working on this side of the building where it was shaded, and the whole process went along pretty smoothly getting the insulation up.
If you'll grab the tape measure, oh, it's right here, I guess.
Busted my tape measure trying to throw it up to Dave in the bucket, and it hit the floor, and that's what happened.
Daphne drug that broken tape measure around for 3 days like a little kid with a blanket. Finally had to throw it away when she wasn't looking. And we bought this Swinch and shear just for this job, and man, it's really nice for doing the straight cuts. And most of the time when I was doing angle cuts, even though I had blades for angle cuts, I cut most of those by hand just because there was usually something else going on with the piece. But anyway, well worth the money, especially if you're working it every day. I couldn't see doing it any other way.
We'll leave a link in the description for where you can get this tool. We had to strap down the pieces so that the wind wouldn't catch them, and I'm in the bucket here so that I can hand them out to Dave as he needs them and keep this thing going. How many screws do you have to put in each piece?
There's only 12 in these pieces, so not too bad.
If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
While Daphne's putting up the insulation on the sides, I'm going to work on putting down the rat guard or mouse proof, whatever you're used to calling it, and trim out the windows. So while she's putting the insulation up, I'll do that. I'm sorry, did I get in your way?
No, I didn't mean to get in your way.
Some guys will cut a bunch of pieces all at once. I kind of like to do one or two at a time and and make sure that they fit the way I want them to, and remeasure the next ones and go on that way. So I don't like having, you know, insulation exposed a little bit at the top, or an excessive gap on top of the rat guard. So I kind of measure as I go and level as I go and make sure that everything fits exactly the way I want it to. So we're gonna finish the wrapping on our windows, and we had to do it a little backwards because we put the windows in and we put our tape at the bottom, which I'll show you later. But so now we're going to cut our wrap away from our window. We'll trim it to size. We'll tape the sides and the bottom the way it's supposed to be. But we are doing it a little backwards. So I'll take my utility knife and I'll first get the window exposed. Now I'm kind of doing it this way, like I said, because we kind of did things backwards. Usually you put your house wrap on and you cut it, slide your windows in. But we didn't really have that opportunity, and it wouldn't work very well here. With the wind that we have, and there's nothing backing up the wrap. So there's our window. Now what I want to do is cut back to this flange, and for that I use my fiskars. And everybody should have a nice pair of scissors. So you can see where the existing wrap is underneath the windows. What we'll do is we'll pull this up off that wood and then put it over the top of this. And I like using the scissors because I can put the edge of my knife kind of right on the edge of the flange. This one's a little tricky because of the way the framing is. We just go up and just expose that flange, just like so. So as you can see there, now I've got the flange exposed, and hopefully we can pull this existing tape up. You'll see the foil split on some of it, but the butyl's still intact. So this isn't really not as bad as it looks. The idea is to keep water from going underneath your windows. Like if something would happen, that the frame would split a little bit down in there. Well, this is going to be a tough one. We may just have to may just have to cut that one loose, and that one stuck really, really well. I knew this was going to be a thing when we put them in, so I tried not to tape these down really tight so that I could peel them back up. Let's tuck this one under here, and we'll butyl it back over. Do the same thing here. Now what we're going to do, since we kind of had to booger that over, and that's just below where the water would run right over and out of the bottom of the window. Keep it from going back into the wall. Some of the windows that I've done, I've had to do this with, and some of them worked out exactly like I hoped they would. But this has been a good one to show you because it didn't work out good exactly how I wanted it to. And that's like they always say, everybody can fly the plane when the weather's nice, but if you get into a little bit of a tough spot, you've got to kind of have an idea of where you're going. There may be better ways to do this for sure. Now what we're going to do first, is we're going to go up the side, or down the side. Come right down that flange. Press that dude down really good on that flange, and then out here on your wrapping. Now if you've done this in the right order, your wrap's already tucked behind your window. Like I said, with the time that was going to be between putting the windows in, we didn't want to have the wrap on that long unsupported because the winds up here are pretty strong in the spring, and this stuff had been in a big pile 2 miles away. Right that flange. You can see how that stuff sticks if it just comes in contact with something, let alone if you're pushing on it. It really sticks. And then right here where this flange overlaps, I'm going to cut that loose just very carefully there and tuck that back in. That way any water that might get under here and wants to come out has got an escape route. Otherwise it's kind of trapped. So just cut a little slit under that flange. Don't go all the way through, so you still have good butyl behind there, and that's what protects your window. And like I say with everything, I'm no expert on this, and I'm sure there's a million other ways to do this better, easier, smarter. I'm just giving you one option to look at and to think about if you're ever in the same situation. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure this is really all that necessary on this project. But it's required to be done, and so I'm doing it and trying to do the best job at it that I can with kind of unusual circumstances involved. Unless water can run uphill and through tape, it really has got no place to go there. So now let's do the last piece, which is a piece over the top. And theoretically, you want to do all these things in a certain order. And then once they've been here and inspected this, then we'll put our J channel on around our windows, and then we'll put our steel on. Okay, so that should take care of this window. As you can see, the water, if there was any that came over the top, would come over the top of this. It can't get past this seal, and it drains over the top. Any that might get in through the bottom has got a relief here to come out of, and then that relief is backed up with butyl tape that is wrapped from the inside and through each corner. So there's nowhere for water to go, and really it's a pretty secure way of doing it. Like I said, ideally you would have had some sort of wall board up here that you would have been covering with your house wrap. Your house wrap would have been tucked under, and you wouldn't have been trimming around it. But if, in like my case, if I had this up there for too long, it'd been a mess. So anyway, this is a way to get them done.
Job of cutting those so that they fit.
Well, I'm only so much of it. The shears are doing a nice job, and the way the shears are set up, I can cut the horizontals with the shears, and then this I can cut with a combination of the hand and electric stuff. So really Couldn't ask for it to work out much better. Here's our Swenson shear that we use for cutting our panels. It's set up right now for a straight cut, and this particular model will cut the angles, but you have to have a different set of blades, and we have those for 612. So if you order one of these machines or tooling, you need to know what the profile is so that they can cut the appropriate profile for you. A lot of them are pretty common. They know what they're doing, so they'll help walk you through that if you have any questions. Some of the other tools that we used were these Milwaukee shears, which are really nice on a straight, flat cut. Offset straight, offset straight. These are left cut, these are right cut, these are straights. So with what you see here, you can do about all your straight cuts. DeWalt also makes this, which it works, but it's not the most refined tool. I've actually got it what looks like it's upside down, but sometimes that's the way I like to use it. But anyway, with these tools right here, you can just about do anything you need. And the Swenson shear is really a godsend if you have a lot of straight cuts to make. So anyway, just thought we'd run through what tools we used. Nothing particularly fancy, nothing that you wouldn't use over and over again, or be able to find somebody that would use it again and be willing to buy it off of you. So anyway, hope that helps.
Yeah, it's fitting nice though.
Well,
You had to trim that one down there a little bit.
Tried to take all the steps, like when we were putting this up, that we get back and we look at it and we go, hey, that's got a dip or it's got a bump. Let's get the level on it, let's check it.
Right.
And we did the same thing down here. Here was easy because we just laid it down.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd already done the hard work with our board, being, using the transit to get it level. So,
Everything square helps it.
yeah, preparation helps a little bit. And, if you don't prepare, well, it doesn't go well.
Yep.
And trying to hit, if we had a 1x4 up here or something like that, we could have marked our holes. We could have punched them laying on the stack there.
Yeah.
And they'd all went in, but we're hitting 1.5 inches. And it's not perfect, and so you've got to, you can't just line up and slam bam them. You have to,
Right.
and that's a pain in the butt, but it's, I don't like the layout with the extra board. Lays you out 3/4 inch, and then you have a void that you have to put styrofoam in, or I just don't like it. So this is a little more work, a little more headache, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I really enjoy working with Dave on this project, and especially on the parts where I feel like that I'm really being of assistance to him and making life easier for him. It's very meaningful to me. Coming up next will be the phase 2 and the completion of all of the siding on the exterior of the Barndominium. If you like this video, you'll probably like the video where we installed the metal roofing, so check it out.